Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review and another anniversary review, I would say. So today, I've been reviewing the 30th anniversary of a film that I grew up loving. I've watched it so many times when I was a kid. I still love the film, and to me, it's one of Harrison Ford's best movies. Now, roles, yes, outside his Han Solo / Indiana Jones films, as characters go, this is one of my favorite films or roles for Harrison Ford. So 30 years, hence the year from 1993. So me reviewing the 30th anniversary, which I wanted to review for a long time. So 30th anniversary of movie review of one of my favorite films that I grew up enjoying a lot, and that was of The Fugitive. So yeah, 30 years. Like I said, it's one of Harrison Ford's one of his best roles, for me, in my opinion. I love this film. Like I said, I watched this film so many times on VHS when I was a kid. I watched it so many times. I don't know how much, And I love the cast. I enjoy the score, the cinematography, the stunt works. So you got Harrison Ford as Dr. Richard Kimball, and you got Tommy Lee Jones as Deputy Marshal, U.S. Marshal Samuel Gerard. And it's based on the TV show from the '60s, same name, and I do believe that it was Bob Peck who played Dr. Kimball. Now, Bob Peck, if you remember, he was in Jurassic Park. He was the game warden, Muldoon, who, killed by the Velociraptor, saying, "Clever girl." Yeah, I think it was Bob Peck who played Kimball in the TV show. So, but I haven't seen that show though. But I just love the movie so much, And the film came out. It was critically acclaimed. It has a 96% Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 7.8 IMDb. Very successful at the box office. Made over, what was it, maybe 183 or 163 million something in the United States, and worldwide it made close to 370 million worldwide. It was the third highest grossing film of 1993. It was the third highest grossing one, behind Mrs. Doubtfire and Jurassic Park. But it was still a great film nonetheless, though. Awesome film nonetheless. It's directed by Andrew Davis, who directed. I thought he directed a pretty decent slash film. It was called The Final Terror, which I thought was a pretty decent slash film, to say the least. And he would later use Tommy Lee Jones twice more before The Fugitive. He directed Tommy Lee Jones in the film called The Package. It starred him and Gene Hackman. And then later, after that and before this, 1991, Under Siege with Steven Seagal, which is another great action film I enjoyed growing up. Tommy Lee Jones was a good bad guy in Under Siege as Stranix, and he would telling Steven Seagal, "There's a big difference, my man. You have faith, I don't." Keeping Steven Seagal after he kills was like, "Keep the faith, Stranix." So yeah, but Tommy Lee Jones as U.S. Marshal Gerard, Sam Gerard, which he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for this role, and which I would say deserved, because first of all, I love Tommy Lee Jones, one of my favorite actors. He was a lot of fun in this film. He was a lot of fun. A lot of his lines, I love his lines. His dialogue I enjoyed. In which later he would go on to star in the sequel, U.S. Marshals, 5 years later, 1998. Which I like. I like U.S. Marshals. He says, not only Tommy Lee Jones, but his same U.S. Marshals team. They come back to star in the film as well, along with Joe Pantoliano, who's also a marshal with him. Joe Pantoliano I also enjoy as an actor as well, which I recently I reviewed not that long ago. He was in Daredevil as the reporter Ben Urich. But this in this film when he had hair, and he has a little bit of fun banter between him and Tommy Lee Jones. I like. And but anyway, with U.S. Marshals though, also starred Wesley Snipes and Robert Downey Jr. I like the film, but I do say it is kind of a wee bit of a step down from the first one, though. I would say. I mean, the first thing it probably say is a step down because, I mean, the first off we see Tommy Lee Jones. Yes, I get he's undercover. He's going undercover for a case, right? But the first big thing is though, the first time we see him, he's in a chicken suit. You know, he's in a chicken suit. I know it's an undercover disguise though, but I'm like, he comes back from a sequel to The Fugitive, and the first time we see him he's in a chicken suit. And also the thing is, though, I think what I saw the humor that he had in this film was toned down to be more serious and dramatic in U.S. Marshals, which I partly think that was kind of a mistake though, because he had a lot of fun quotes in this movie, which things on U.S. Marshal, I don't think he had any memorable funny quotes in that movie though. So yeah, there are some issues I have with U.S. Marshals, but I still like the film nonetheless though. I do think it's a bit of a step down though, but I think I still like U.S. Marshals to say the least. Because one thing I like about it, I thought Tommy Lee Jones once again was good. I like Wesley Snipes, Robert Downey Jr. I like the score from Jerry Goldsmith, my favorite composer. So I still like U.S. Marshal still. But this film, Tommy Lee Jones, he was a lot of fun in this role. And Harrison Ford as Dr. Richard Kimball, I really fell for the guy. He's, you know, especially he was being all emotional when his wife got murdered. Because the story is, which great screenwriting by Jeb Stewart and David Towie. David Towie also did the story for this film as well. And David Towie, he's also a director who directed the Riddick movies. He directed the Pitch Black, the Chronicles of Riddick, and then the sequel Riddick with Vin Diesel. And he also directed the horror submarine movie called Below, which I like. It was a good ghost film in a submarine, haunted submarine. So yeah, David Towie, who did those movies, he did the story for the film and he helped write the film as well, along with Jeb Stewart as well, which they both did a really good job of the film, I would say too. Great story and all that. But Andrew Davis also did a good job directing as well. So anyway, as people already know about the story, if people see this film a lot of times, so like I have. Story is Dr. Richard Kimball. He's been framed for murder because he's a doctor. He's a vascular surgeon, and so he was at this party. He was driving home with his wife until he gets a call to do some surgery on this one guy, and his wife is at home and she gets attacked by this guy who is this one-armed man. Harrison Ford comes home. He gets a fight with the guy. Realizes he has a mechanical arm or a prosthetic arm. Right, the guy gets away. And also one thing I forgot to mention, this takes place in Chicago, which Andrew Davis really loves Chicago so much because he did that when he did there was another film he did called Code of Honor, and also when forgot to mention he also directed Above the Law, also with Steven Seagal, his Steven Seagal's first movie. So yeah, I forgot to mention he also did Above the Law as well and Code of Honor, and he also did Chain Reaction as well with Keanu Reeves and Morgan Freeman. I did not mind the movie though. I didn't hate Chain Reaction because I like the actors, because Keanu Reeves, Morgan Freeman, you have Kevin Dunn, Fred Ward's in it. But to me, I think he's kind of doing a little repeat of The Fugitive. What I saw though, it was like The Fugitive, but just repeated again. So I've had to mention those movies, but I'm saying what I mentioned about Chicago because Andrew Davis likes filming in Chicago, because he did with Code of Honor. They did the same thing with Above the Law, and then he's doing the same thing with The Fugitive as well. So he really likes the city of Chicago. Well, Chicago is not like how it is today, because Chicago is just basically as a war zone. You know, sad to say. You know, there you get like 100 shootings every single day over there. But anyway, regardless of all that though. But anyway, in Chicago. And like I said, but but the police there, they're questioning Kimball's motives, which these two cops I always hated, because I always think that these cops should be fired, because they didn't do jack shit. All they just accuse Harrison Ford, thinking he did it, and even later on they still think he's still guilty. Oh, and he was convicted in court. No, he's not innocent. He was convicted in a court of law. He's guilty. I'm like, fuck you, stupid cops. Which, by the way, the one cop, one of the police cops, he's a guy with short gray hair, which he also appeared in Andrew Davis's other films, a couple of other Andrew Davis films as well, like even including Above the Law, as well. And I know he was another film too as well. But I'm like, yeah. So they're questioning Kimball's, like thinking that even Harrison Ford is getting the hint of thinking that they're saying that he murdered his wife. I'm like, and you buy the emotion that Harrison Ford is going through. He's like, you think I killed my wife? I would just bash her skull in? No. When I came home, there was a man in my house. He had a mechanical arm. Now you find this man. You find this man. Oh God. I'm playing like it's cheesy though, but you buy the emotion there Harrison Ford was going through though, and these cops are thinking like, oh, because you think he killed his wife for the money, and it's like, is she insured? Yes. Who's the beneficiary? Me. Well, you must be. Well, you won't. Well, I guess you won't be hurting after this. I'm like, screw you. And then even the same thing, like when Tommy Lee Jones was talking to them, he's like, he did it for the money, and Tommy Jones like, why would he do that? He's already rich. And the one cop goes, well, she was even richer. I'm like, these guys should be fired, or let alone get just bitch slapped across the face. Yeah, she was richer. So anyway, yeah. So he's accused of murdering his wife. He's convicted by lethal injection, and they get one of my favorite parts of the movie easily. So I was still one of my favorite parts of the movie is he gets put on the bus with three other prisoners. One was the black guy prisoner, Copeland, the character Copeland, which we've seen previously in Andrew Davis's previous film in Under Siege as well. He was also in that too. And so, one prisoner fakes being foaming at the mouth. He takes a sharpened toothbrush, stabs one guard, and the other guard who shoots him, which you also recognize too, Richard Riley. You would recognize him too. He's in small supporting roles because you mostly remember him because he has a mustache. But he was also in Free Willy among other ones as well. You would recognize him as this one guard. He shoots the one prisoner. Accidentally, one prisoner grabs a gun, shoots the driver, and then the really good vehicle stunt work when the bus is tumbling over the hill, and then it lands on the train tracks, and then when they hear the train horn, Richard Riley says, "What the hell was that?" And they see the train coming, and the guy just bails. He just leaves his partner behind. And Harrison Ford, helps him. And they get one of my favorite parts of the movie is this really great scene, great stunt work of. It's why, if I remember, they did this in one take. The train hitting the bus. I think they did that I think that was done in one take. But it was a really well done scene when Harrison Ford throws the guard off to the side to be safe, and then just by the last second, which also, like I mentioned, the great mix of playing along with a great score by James Newton Howard. This is one of my favorite scores from James Newton Howard, which he would later do the score, of course, where my finger is at right there, Space Jam. Of course, do scores in other films as well, including, I think, some of the Harry Potter films as well, I think. But James Newton Howard, I've always loved this score from him. I think this is my favorite score from James Newton Howard. So it plays with the great intense music when the whole train was to hit the bus and Harrison Ford jumps out the last second. Great when the train's hitting the bus, and then part of the locomotive derails, and he's running because he's still shackled in with his legs, and then just he ducks down, and then the train just goes and just demolishes. And then the last remaining prisoner, Copeland, helps get the cuffs off. So he goes his own way, and Harrison Ford goes his own way. Then we're introduced to Tommy Lee Jones, and then the old guard, Richard Riley, makes some bullshit story that how he saved his partner and all that and stuff, right? I'm like, no different than the cops, bullshit, And then I was gonna say Sam Jackson, Samuel Gerard, Tommy Lee Jones, right? And they find the cuffs, right? And it's like, oh, gee, look at this. We're usually fascinated, we find leg arms without no legs in them. And he tells him, you want to change your bullshit story? And then he tells everyone's like, our fugitive. The other was a great scene, a great quote, and it was like, our fugitive's been on the run for 90 minutes, which means, wherever. How do you go? I know I've seen it since I've seen it so many times. I should know it by now, right? It's like, check with every gas station, residence, hen house, farmhouse, and doghouse in that area. Your fugitive's name is Dr. Richard Kimball. Go get him. And so Harrison Ford, he goes to the hospital, treats his wound, changes his clothes, cuts his beard, and then he takes an ambulance where he saw the guard from the guy pulled out of the train, and then takes the ambulance, and then they locate the location where he's at. And so they get once again the great score by James Newton Howard, dun 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 dun. And then ultimately one thing leads to another, getting chased into this sewer tunnel, right, which leads to this dam. And then so Tommy Lee Jones is following Harrison Ford. He slips and then he gets his gun and he tells him, "I didn't kill my wife." And Tommy Lee Jones, "I don't care." I mean, Tommy Lee Jones, Lisa, he was just a lot of fun in this. I see why he deserved to win his Oscar for this. And then Chasey comes to the end of the tunnel at the edge of the dam, and then Harrison Ford. Well, even though it's not Harrison Ford who jumps though, but good stunt work jumping over. He jumps off the dam, and then Tommy Lee Jones is like stunned to see him do that, and then Joe Pantoliano, who's also a U.S. Marshal named Cosmo, which Joe Pantoliano has a funny moment when they were stepping into the sewer. He's like, "Ah, shit! I just bought these shoes," and Tommy's like, "Shut up, Cosmo." And then he goes to Tommy Lee Jones saying, "What happened?" And Tommy's saying, "The guy did a Peter Pan off of this dam right here. Yeah, boom." And then when they're leaving, they're kind of lost, and he's like, "There's no way out of this place." So, and then it's the same thing. Oh, since no one could survive that jump, right? And it's like they're telling Sam he's dead, and Tommy's like, "Well, that makes him easier to catch then." A lot. Like I said, I don't say how much I love Tommy Lee Jones. It is definitely one of my favorite roles for Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, I enjoy him in the Men in Black movies, among many movies I've seen him in. But this is definitely one of my favorite roles with Tommy Lee Jones. So then he heads back to Chicago. He heads back to Harrison Ford heads back to Chicago. Sam Gerard and his team, they find the other prisoner Copeland at this house. Holds one of his teammates at gunpoint named Newman, but then he's trying to make a deal. Then Tommy goes and shoots him point blank, with his partner still being held right here, and it was very loud, kind of hurt his hearing, right? And he's saying, "I can't hear anything, Sam." And Tommy Lee Jones is like, "You think I should bargain with him?" And he whispers to Newman's ears like, "I don't bargain." And he's telling whoever's on the phone later on, he's saying, "Well, I had to. He's going to shoot one of my boys." "Well, you can blame me, sir. I'm the one that shot him." So, and then and Tommy Lee Jones, and this whole thing is now becomes, after he escapes and all that, now he has his Dr. Kimball has his journey to find out who killed his wife, why, how was he his friend, who was the person Especially starting with finding that one-armed man who attacked him, who killed his wife. So he's doing research about finding who this man is. Like he goes to disguises as a janitor at this hospital. You have Julianne Moore in a small role in this film. She plays a doctor helping patients out, right? Which I like Julianne Moore as an actress. I think she's one of my favorite actresses, you know, along with Sandra Bullock and a couple of others. So, but yeah, it was cool to see Julianne Moore in this. You know, small role though, but still, it's always nice to see her in it. I don't think she's hardly given a bad performance in her career, you know. And so, but Harrison Ford, he's doing his research on a computer, he's limited down his options about who's the one-armed man, like limited on especially for specifics type of the mechanical prosthetic arm and stuff. So he's limited down to like 5, and then he goes and helps this one kid. I think he has a sternum fracture, I think, and so Julia Moore sees him. He's take him away. She sees him look at the film, and then he changes the diagnosis and he signs it, and the kid go to surgery and saves the kid's life. And like this shows this guy is, despite being on the run, being as a criminal, framed as a criminal, right? He's still doing his job at saving lives. I mean, yeah, he saved the guard's life on the train from being run over, though, but he goes and saves a kid's life. And then Julia Moore's like, since when do you start looking at films? How did that kid end up in surgery, right? And then she's like, oh, she goes and takes his badge away, calls security, and he goes and walks away. And then Julia Moore tells Tommy Lee Jones saying that he saved the kid's life. And then him and Joe Pantoliano, they see a guy walking by with one arm, right? And this is where now they're starting to put things together, and now they're cross-testing the same research that Harrison Ford was looking at, people with one arms, right? So now they're starting to put things together about maybe there was a one-armed man, like the stupid police failed to research anything. So. And so there's one instance where he goes to this one place to rule out one suspect, and then this is where you get another good piece of score from James Newton Howard, where Tommy Lee Jones sees Harrison Ford, right? He sees him going downstairs, he goes, "Richard!" And then the moment that Harrison Ford looks up at him, then you get that good piece of music by James Newton Howard playing. He's like, as soon as he said, "Richard!" Do 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 dun 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 dun. I do a crappy job, but I just like how the music starts playing as soon as Harrison Ford looks up, and then the chase begins. And so, then he tries to get out of this there's these elevating doors. Tommy Lee Jones shoots at him, but it's bulletproof glass, so Harrison Ford got really lucky. And then he goes and hides in this parade because it's St. Patrick's Day, right? So hides a lot of people wearing green in row, and so he hides in the crowd and he slips away from them. And that's where they get these two dumb cops during this press conference. The one cop saying, "No, he's not innocent. He was convicted of court of law. He's guilty." I'm like, screw you. So, and then Harrison Ford goes to this one house where he finds the one-armed man's place, because he found photos, and it shows that the guy he used to be a cop as well. He finds another prosthetic arm, and then he finds pictures, and also we'll leave to this play with this whole company called Devil McGregor, and this other guy by the name of Lenz, who Harrison Ford knew. And also the fact that Harrison Ford, he has a lot of connections with a lot of people that knows him, like friends and other colleagues and stuff, like he has a lot of connections, like a couple of guys who knows him, including a doctor played by Jane Lynch, who's been among other stuff as well, which Harrison Ford later goes to see her for help. Yeah, Jane Lynch. And so, Harrison Ford calls Tommy Lee Jones and is like, Do you remember what you told me in the tunnel?" He said, "I don't care." And he said, Yes, Richard, I don't care. I'm not trying to solve a puzzle here." well, I'm trying to solve a puzzle, and I just found a big piece. And he smartly leaves. He doesn't hang up the phone. He leaves the phone still online for them to trace where the place is at to get the suspicions of the guy named Frederick Seitz, who is the one-armed guy. So they find him. He comes home and he's questioned by Tommy Lee Jones, and Tommy Lee Jones is very suspicious of him. He's like, "Oh, Cosmo, this guy's dirty." So, and then Harrison Ford calls up another friend of his by the name of Charles Nichols, played by Jeroen Krabbe. Jeroen Krabbe, which I remember he was also the main bad guy in The Punisher from 1989 with Dolph Lundgren. He was the main bad guy that asked for Dolph Lundgren's help because his son was taken by the Yakuza. So he had to team up with Dolph Lundgren's The Punisher to help get his son back. But ultimately, since everyone was dead, he decided to turn back onto Dolph Lundgren, though. Yeah, but Jeroen Krabbe, he was the main bad guy in The Punisher from 1989 with Dolph Lundgren. And he's the bad guy in this. Turns out he's the guy. Frederick Seitz was the guy he hired, but Jeroen Krabbe, he's the guy who organized everything. The reason why he killed his wife and ready to frame him, because it was all due to this type of drug pathogen. It was tissue samples that were like manipulated because even the guy he killed the guy Len's too, but he switched the samples of this drug right. It's supposed to be a good drug, right? So he did all that and to frame Harrison Ford and kill his wife. So he's the one who orchestrated everything and hired the one-armed man Frederick Seitz to kill his wife to do it. And so later Harrison Ford knew about when the guy Lenz, he said that these samples were changed the time of the day he died, right? And realizes, he says to Jane Lynch, who was helping him, he's like, thanks, he's like, where are you going? See a friend. So, and then he's on the subway train. One guy sees him, recognizes him from a newspaper, snitches on a cop, and that's when Frederick Seitz, the one-armed man, finds him there. He shoots the cop and gets into a tussle with Sykes, and then beats him, pistol whips him, and then handcuffs him, and he says, "You missed your stop." And so he goes to this hotel where Dr. Nichols is at, and as soon as he's giving his speech, he sees him, and then Harrison Ford goes and calls him out. You almost got away with it, did you? So, and then you get to now. One thing I was saying, it's not wall-to-wall action. It's not like hardcore fights or fisticuff fights like John Wick would do, right? Because Harrison Ford is an ordinary guy. He's a doctor. He has no combat skills whatsoever. He's just a doctor, so it's not a full balls-to-walls fight. So it's just like sometimes pushing and shoving, and then a couple of punches here and there. So it's not which I'm perfectly fine with, because I don't expect that type of fight, because as I said, these guys are both doctors. They're not veterans or anything. So, but Nichols just hits him with a chair. It's like, you don't give up, do you, Richard? You never give up. And so then he pushes him down the steps, and then is when Tommy comes in and sees them. They both get into another fight, and they fall down this elevator, which goes down to the laundry room. And then Tommy Lee Jones, Joe Pantoliano, Jeroen Krabbe, he knocks Joe Pantoliano with his beam, which I thought that always hurt so bad, because he pushes it, and the moment that Joe Pantoliano turns around, just goes in, he gets hit the moment, the split second he turns around, which I'm like, ooh, that must have hurt, right to the face. But then Tommy Lee Jones is telling Richard Kimball that you're innocent, and how he knew, because he said that Jeroen Krabbe, Dr. Nichols, borrowed Kimball's car, and he called Sykes from his car phone. And And then Dr. Nichols, he was about to shoot Tommy Lee Jones, but then Harrison Ford hits him, knocks his ass out with a pipe. And then Tommy just like tells him, it's over now. And he's like, I'm glad. I need a rest. He's brought out and he takes the handcuffs on him, puts the ice pack on Harrison Ford's wrist, and he's like, "Thought you didn't care. I don't. Don't tell anyone." So, yeah, I love this film. It's definitely an all-time classic. One of my favorite films from both Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones. I love the score. Pretty much my favorite score by James Newton Howard. Great directing by Andrew Davis. I enjoyed the story and screenplay was very well done by both Jeb Stewart and David Twohy. The rest of the cast I enjoyed. I mean, Joe Pantoliano, he's also fun with his back and forth with him and Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, the second after he got hit by that beam, right? He's later carted up on a stretcher and he's like, tell Sam Gerard I'm going home now. I'm taking my vacation. They had Jeroen Krabbe. I thought he did a really good job as Dr. Nichols. Playing it, thinking he's a friend of Dr. Kimmel, but the thing is, he's the one who set him up and betrayed him over this drug, to claim for himself, Andreas Katsulas, who plays Frederick Seiss, the one-armed man, I thought he did a good job too. Stella Ward, who plays Richard Kimball's wife. For the little screen time she had, I thought she was fine. And the rest of Tommy Lee Jones' team, along with Joe Pantoliano, the other U.S. Marshals, which they also did a good job as well too. I really enjoyed the best action scene was the beginning with the train and the bus crash. Really, I always loved that train crash scene. Because I think long ago I made that video, top train crashes, right? Top 10 train crashes. That was the second one I placed behind Under Siege 2 Dark Territory, of course. But I always loved it. Was really well filmed, and how they did the stunt work for that is like really amazing. And like I said, I think they did that in one take, with the bus and the train crashing the bus, right? And like I said, along with the bits of in the chase sequence, when, like I said, during that parade, the moment he looks up, the music starts, along mixed with the train crash scene as well. So yeah, and Tommy Lee Jones, he was a lot of fun in this. A lot of great quotes he has, funny back and forth he has with his team. And Harrison Ford, he also did a phenomenal job too. Phenomenal job. And it's like, I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. And Tommy Lee Jones, he really deserved to win his Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Now the film also was nominated for other Oscars as well. The film was even nominated for Best Picture as well. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor, which Tommy Lee Jones won, Best Cinematography, Best Film Editing, Best Original Score by James Newton Howard, Best Sound, and Best Sound Effects Editing. So yeah, it was nominated for quite a few Oscars there, but the only one it won for was Tommy Lee Jones for his Best Supporting Actor. So yeah, I really love this film. It's an all-time classic. Not only that though, the film was parodied as well for the Leslie Nielsen movie called Wrongfully Accused. I mean, the poster was parodied as well. I mean, I haven't seen that film in quite a long time, though, because I like Leslie Nielsen. Richard Crenna from the Rambo films, he's in it as well. I thought he had a couple of funny moments in that film, too, so... Yeah, but that film was parodied, Wrongfully Accused. I love this film. Because as I said, I've watched this film so many times growing up when I was a kid, on VHS. I still have the old VHS tape stored away though, but there's a lot of films I grew up watching so many times as a kid, like from Broken Arrow, Under Siege 2, this film, a lot of films I grew up. Space Jam was also one of them too. Jurassic Park, The Thing, yeah, there's a lot of films I grew up watching so many times. So yeah, but 30th anniversary, 30 years. The Fugitive is still an all-time classic. One of the best thrillers or suspense movies you can say. It's definitely one of the, like I said, two of the best, one of my favorite roles from Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford. They both did a phenomenal job. Now, they didn't share too many scenes together. One in the tunnel, if you count the phone conversation they had. Then that quick scene on the staircase. And then at the end together when they were being at the very end then. So like 4 times together. Well, the phone conversation doesn't count because they're not in the same scene together, so. But so maybe say 3 scenes, probably like 3 scenes together. But regardless, I still love the film. I love the film to death. U.S. Marshals I still like though, but I think I still thought it was a step down though. But I still like the film nonetheless. But I love The Fugitive. You know, I can't explain how much I cannot stop praising this film. And what I said, Tommy Lee Jones, Harrison Ford, great job, excellent performances. 30 years later, I think it still is a fun, kick-ass suspense thriller movie. That's how much I praise. That's how much I praise this film. Fun and kick-ass. Yeah, much to say, but what's so kick-ass about it, you know? But yeah. So yeah, 30 years later, 30th anniversary review of The Fugitive. Still love the film to death. But yeah, but that's it. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time. And plus, if you haven't seen the film, check it out. You know, I recommend you watch The Fugitive. Anyway, later.